Why would you want to do something that you know darn well could kill you?
I had never wanted to do anything else. I never ever wanted anything as much as I want racing.
Why?
It's born in me, bred in me, I reckon. Ain't nothing like going fast at Daytona. You don't have to worry about letting off or cracking the gas. You can just go. And it's just the biggest thrill I've ever had.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to North Wilkesboro here with Goat Locker for the Cruisin Classics Retro 87 Series. It's going to be old school here tonight. You can't get much more old school than North Wilkesboro. It's going to be a blast. We'll see who, maybe a little bit of beef, maybe a little bit of bumping fenders, door banging. You're going to get it all live here tonight on V-Speed. Good evening, folks. I'm the redneck announcer, Jake Reeves. Got Logan Thrakil, Santa, right over there beside him here. This way. I always get the camera backers, Logan. I'm always this way, that way, either way.
One of these times.
Eddie Smith. Yeah, one of these days I'll get it figured out. But Eddie Smith also on production. Logan, buddy, how the hell are you? We was off for a week. I've been off for 2 weeks. A new addition to the family. But how in the world have you been, sir?
We've been great, buddy. Great coverage last week. We missed you up there in the booth, but I think more importantly, you missed some beef at the end of that race, and I think it will carry over into tonight.
Well, that's something that we'll really be watching out for. You know me, I always love the beef any way, shape, fashion, or form. And what a better place than to have beef right here at beautiful North Wilkesboro Speedway. Real quick, we'll check out our points on how everything is looking so far here with the Cruisin Classics Retro 87 Series. And no points at that point. We're hearing from that. So we'll go over and look at our schedule as of what we have lined up. There you see it. We was at Talladega. We took a week off, went to Darlington. Logan talking about there was some beef, and what better place to do it right here at North Wilkesboro. Then you got Dover Downs and Old Atlanta, not the Super Speedway Atlanta, but the old one, which will be on July the 29th. All of this going to be right here live on V-Speed. So make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button, hit the bell, and keep up with everything going on with Goat Locker. Real quick, Logan, you were talking about the beef that was going on at Darlington. Like I said, I had a lot going on last week, obviously, but just kind of for a refresher for everybody else at home and also for me about the beef that happened at Darlington last week.
You know, I would love to answer that, Jake, but I think I'm going to challenge you instead and see if you can pick out the two drivers to who it might be And if you don't get it by about halfway through the race, let's recap on it then, because I think you'll see it pretty early here tonight. It'll show.
If I had to take a wild guess, I'd say Jake Ham and Brandon Evans. I'm just taking a wild guess. I mean, if you think about some of the action that they had when we was back at Charlotte with some of their door banging and how they got caught up in it, I'm probably wrong, but at least that would be my guess. Am I even close, Logan?
I'm gonna tell you yes or no, but I think the results will shock you a little bit.
All right, well, we'll see what happens on that one. Well, check this out real quick. There you see beautiful North Wilkesboro Speedway right here in Wilkes County, North Carolina. Check out our track graphic of what we got going on. You see it zoomed in, zooming around, spinning around sideways, trying to get straightened out, and then bam, right here in North Carolina. Old school facility, turns 14 degrees. Little bit different kind of a deal, you know, one straightaway up, one straightaway going down, Logan. It's not just a regular old short track. This place is a little bit tough for these drivers to have to try to get around.
Yeah, it's going to be an entirely different ball game on the entry of the downhill section of the track, just as you mentioned. So a little bit more speed there, a lot more weight to go through that corner. It's going to take quite a bit to slow these cars down. I hope these drivers are prepared for it.
We're understanding also that we got a little graphic from Eddie Smith, so we'll go ahead and play that one for you real quick.
Welcome to North Wilkesboro Speedway, a legendary NASCAR track faithfully recreated in iRacing as it was in 1987. It's a very tough and technical 0.6 mile racetrack, and let's take a lap around this legendary racetrack in North Carolina. As you come out of turn 4, you're going to cross the start finish line. You're going to turn left straight, and then cross the start finish line. And that is a lap around North Wilkesboro Speedway.
And Logan, you saw right there, I mean, just really, these guys are going to be really sawing on that wheel. You saw it right there with that awesome video provided by our producer, Eddie Smith. Just these guys is really going to be sawing on that wheel with these 87 cars. And these cars very tough, much tougher than what the next-gen cars is that NASCAR uses today, but certainly going to be sawing on that wheel all the way around this 0.63 mile oval.
That they are, and Eddie Smith with a fine job pointing out, you know, we've got 2 left-hand turns and 2 straightaways, and that's going to complete your lap here. And, you know, the times are going to go by pretty quickly. In practice and qualifying, we're seeing around that low 22nd time as our fast lap. So it's going to be a pretty quick race here tonight.
It will certainly be a very quick one. Shout out to everybody out there on the live chat. Let us know where you're from. Let us know what you got going on here on a beautiful Tuesday night here in virtual North Wilkesboro. We'll sit out there, Brandon Wallace. Congrats, Redneck, on the baby. Thank you very much. We appreciate that as well. And Jamie Libke out there, I think a bunch of people are scared and didn't want to run tonight. What do you think about that, Logan? I mean, it says a short track. People are scared. You're talking about the beef and everything. I mean, is people really scared to come out here and race on a short track in these 87s?
I don't know if it's about being scared or not, but, you know, it's kind of going to play to some of these drivers' advantage having the shorter field, less, you know, rolling roadblocks to maybe have to avoid. But 14 cars tonight is all that we're going to see making these corners, and it's still going to be action-packed. So I'm not too worried about the shortage of drivers.
Yeah, and I don't believe so neither. And real quick, while we have the opportunity, here we go. We'll get you ready for the grid, and starting on the pole for your Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award winner is the 85 of Jake Cam. And obviously, Jam Printing and Promotions, since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning. Local and veteran certified. When they do well, they do good in the community. So thank you very much to Jam Printing and Promotions for what they do. And for the starting lineup here tonight at North Wilkesboro, Jake Ham, as mentioned, Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award winner. To his outside, it is the 40 of Ken Huber. Dakota Floyd in the 057 to the inside of row number 2, and Eddie Kurtz in the 48. He'll be rolling off from P4. Ryan Pendleton in the 23 rolling off from P number 5. And there's the 39 entry with Premier Racing setups on the side. Brandon Evans outside of row number 3. James Goshen and Kevin Orlando Jr. making up row number 4. And David Calvert starting P9 to his outside is the 71 of Daniel Parks.
Back here in row 6, it is Jamie Lipke in the 16 machine, starting out on the inside of the 99 of Brandon Wallace. Only 2 left in the field. It's Charles Aber in the number 7 on the inside line next to the 80 of Kevin Price.
Pretty good little field right here, honestly, Logan, with 14. I mean, believe it or not, 14 can cause chaos on a short track. I've seen it done numerous times on iRacing, or much less on your local short track. If you get a chance, real quick, shout out to the local short tracks all across North America. Get out and support your local short track. Check out your race analysis. Going to go 100 laps here tonight at North Wilkesboro. It's going to be a pretty good little deal right here for about 100 laps. Logan, looks like we're getting ready to go green right here. Pace lights is out on the pace car. Jake Ham actually was your pole award winner. He is going to be starting from the back of the field, and looks like they're going to take it another lap, Logan.
One more time around just to get everything settled in as Jake Ham finds his spot. We're going to be 79 degrees in the air, but it's 122 on the track. And that wind, that 8 mile an hour, it doesn't sound like much, but it can certainly affect the turning capabilities of these cars.
Yeah, one thing I'm really watching right there, you saw that track tip at 122 degrees. These bad boys is going to be slipping and sliding all over the place. Well, as we mentioned, Jake Ham was your pole award winner. He's going to start from the rear, so it will be Dakota Floyd and Ken Huber on the front row inside the restart zone. The next round for the Cruisin Classics Retro 87 Series is underway. Dakota Floyd on the bottom did not get the jump he wanted. Ken Huber jumps down right in front of him. Huber leads him going off of turn 2.
And Huber's in a great spot to try to make last week a little bit better here. Starting off at the front of this pack, this is going to be important for the 40 to try to follow up as best as he can. Heartbreak after last week, leading so many laps and finding himself in the garage before the race ended.
Huber still holding it down with Floyd right behind him. Then you got Pendleton, they're single file. Now Andy Kurtz a little side by side with James Goshen. And then right behind them, good Lord have mercy, and everybody back here slipping, sliding around. There's Brandon Evans. He's got the 35 of Calvert right to his inside. Kevin Orlando Jr. right behind him. And we're already starting to see some of these guys start to work up to the top. There's bearded wonder with Bubba Wallace. And here we go. We got a spinner in the back, but no caution. 99, that is Brandon Wallace.
So at the back of the pack, iRacing deemed it okay as the leaders are going to catch up quickly here to the 99 of Wallace. They only have about a half of a track to get to him. Be interesting to see if the 99 brings it down pit road. It didn't look like he picked up any damage, maybe just scuffed up the tires. I'd assume he would stay out on track. And it looks like he has, coming around the front stretch. On board right now with the 23 of Ryan Pendleton. Just trying to see if he can pressure Dakota Floyd enough to make a mistake here in the early runnings.
Yeah, he's trying to figure out any way he can. I mean, awesome looking paint scheme right there on the 057 of Dakota Floyd, throwing it all the way back to Bill Elliott. Awesome looking paint scheme. Ken Huber actually got about about 3/4 of a second lead over Floyd. Pendleton trying to drop down to the inside, try to make the pass. Kurtz back there throwing it back to a Jimmy Johnson old school kind of ride. Right now, Huber still holds it down. There is Andy Kurtz. And Kevin Orlando Jr.'s going around. 52 spins it, hits the tire barrier on the inside where the inside wall is. Good Lord have mercy, 52 hard contact, cautions out.
That'll certainly be some damage for Kevin Orlando Jr. to get fixed, but we'll take it back here on the V-Speed Instant Replay and take a look at what happened. Orlando Jr. a little bit loose coming out of that corner down into the next one, 35, just under that left rear, gets the 52 unsettled. I don't know how Kevin Orlando Jr. managed to slide across the nose of 4 race cars there and not take anybody else out.
Straight up miracle, I guess you could say. Right on board with the 35, David Calvert. He's got the 52 right there, Orlando right in front of him. And watch Orlando when he comes into the corner. Calvert sends it. Does he touch it? Yes, sir. A little bit of a tap in the back end, knocks him up sideways. Ham slides right by, and everybody else had to jam on the binders, not try to run over Orlando. And we're going to see a lot of that tonight, Logan. We're going to see a lot of guys drive into the corner, get into the back of people, and knock them sideways. As you see, wow, I mean, big stack up. Everybody just jamming on the brakes, trying to stop on that one. But there you see Dakota Floyd, 057, coming back around. Looks like Libke, they stayed out. Floyd and others went down pit road to get a little bit of service. We'll get ready for a restart. Remember, folks, no wave rounds this week. They turned them back off, so apparently they had them on last week when we went to Darlington, Logan.
Yeah, we gave it a shot, and unfortunately it did some very, very weird things. That is what caused the demise of that 40 of Ken Huber. And we had about 5 cars that should have been waved around, all starting at the front of the pack for some reason. And that ended up just a terrible memory for the 40 is all I can really say.
Lipke just went down pit road. That will surrender it back to Dakota Floyd in the 057 with Pendleton. We'll be starting right behind him. And then obviously Ken Huber, Andy Kurtz, Brandon Evans, they will be your top 5. 1 to go with Floyd up here. We got a spinner in the back. Calvert trying to get caught up. Might have got spun around. May want to look at that. Maybe Kevin Orlando Jr. got into the back of him, sent him around. Maybe a little early beef right here. Maybe
like
not.
That one's just a little bit too much speed there. Maybe a little too hard on the throttle coming out of that corner. But
you got
gets us sorted back out and back in line at least.
You got to assume it, Logan. I mean, when you see the one guy get into Kevin Orlando Jr., knock him sideways, and then they get to try to catch back up, you automatically assume that he got knocked sideways and got spun around coming back. I mean, that's one thing everybody loves about short tracks, Logan, is just the mentality and the tempers that always fly. It doesn't matter what you're racing.
You know, it seems to always be the best videos that you come across on social medias. Exactly that. But, unfortunately, we won't see any on-track action like that. We'll have to save it for the interviews at the end of the race. But take it away for this restart, Jake.
Here we go. Everybody right up against the wall. Remember, these drivers cannot pass below either driver cannot take it inside before they get to the line. But now they've hit that line. Ed Floyd dives down on the inside. Huber right behind him. Andy Kurtz sitting in the 3rd spot. Everybody content to go single file for the most part. One driver thinks different. It's Jake Ham down to the inside of Brandon Evans in turn 3.
Trying to make something happen, work his way back through the field after receiving that EOL. He's already made it to the top 5. Trying to work his way back up to the podium where he started this race. We'll see if the 85's got the movement for it. He's going to get the door shut right here on the exit of 2, but down into turn 3, he's going to keep it door to door with Brandon Evans.
Ham still down on the inside trying to get the run. That middle lane, you can kind of get a little bit of a run going. That's exactly what you see with Evans. Evans trying to pinch Ham down on that white line the best that he can. It make him have to lift a little bit more to try to help Evans get a little bit, somewhat of an advantage any way that he can. Now he may end up getting boxed in. Evans thinks different. He'll slip back away, but not clear is Ham. Ham still trying to fight off Brandon Evans.
Evans sends it a little bit deeper into that corner. That's going to completely relinquish that battle to the 85. Jake Ham into the top 4 now. And here's one of my favorite things week after week, taking a look at how bumpy these tracks are with Brandon Evans' sim rig. This one not nearly as bad as I thought it would be, honestly.
Yeah, I really thought it would be a lot more bumpier than that, but it is not really. It looks like it's kind of actually very smooth. If you will, kind of, I mean, well, I don't know. Here he goes. He kind of overdrove the corner a little bit. Battle for the lead is on, though. Ken Huber, Dakota Floyd, side by side, door to door, going into 1. Huber oversends it, overshoots it, door banging. 1 and 2 on the inside
So that 48 reaps the benefits. Jake Ham closes the door entirely. Now right in the battle here. It's a 4-horse race for first place. Ken Huber will finally settle in to second ahead of Dakota Floyd. Floyd charging around the outside, or at least trying to. That bottom line certainly prevailing right now.
Yeah, Dakota Floyd has got to be sitting there. I mean, I'm sure he is very, very upset with how Huber drove him right there. Just sitting in the corner. The car did not stick and slid right up into Floyd. And the 48, Andy Kurtz benefits from all of it. Here is Jake Ham. Remember, he was your Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award winner, but had an EOL, went to the back, and we got one in the back spinning around. Caution's out.
It's a 085 of James Goshen. Nobody else collected, however. Just a solo car spin on that one.
We'll see what happened with Mr. Goshen. See if maybe he got a little love tap one way or another. I don't believe he got a love tap. A whole lot of them behind him. You see already, Logan, he's already sideways coming off of 4. Sends it down into 1. Might have jammed on the brakes a little bit too much. Back end steps out.
And that's what will happen with these cars, especially coming out of the corner. If you get it unsettled down the straightaway, it takes about the entire straightaway to get that suspension to sit back where you want it to make that turn into the next corner.
And we have a lot of takers jumping down pit road. Remember how Goat Locker is. They do not have a limit on the tires. So Patrick Dravick and Jamie Barkus, they straight up foot the bill for the tires and the gas. Do all you want. And obviously, remember, folks, one fast repair. They can elect to do that. Usually don't see nobody really burn a fast repair at short tracks. But, I mean, they still have that to their advantage. Dakota Floyd, once again, with 2 tires. Everybody else taking 4. And the race is off on pit road. Huber, Kurtz, Evans, and Jake Ham, the top 5. Folks, we'll step away real quick for just a quick commercial break. Bring you back for the restart here at North Wilkesboro.
Mom, how do planners get his popcorn so light and fluffy?
It's a secret. Love that aroma.
But, Mom, how does Planters get its popcorn so fluffy and light?
Well, dear, they use only the best quality corn. But, of course, that's what you'd expect of Planters.
Dad, did they have Planters popcorn when you were a kid?
No, Jenny, you're the lucky one.
Mom, is it possible for Planters popcorn to be too light and fluffy?
Planters popcorn, so light and fluffy you'll get carried away.
You are about to see the smartest oil change you can make. Introducing a new Quaker State motor oil. Now Quaker State has a revolutionary formula called QSX. QSX fights engine choking sludge better than other leading oils to keep oil flowing to vital engine parts. For a cleaner, longer-lasting engine, change your oil. Really change your oil to new Quaker State with QSX, the smartest oil change you can make.
Folks, we're back here at North Wilkesboro. Dakota Floyd up here. He is the leader, but the driver in front of him is the 52 of Kevin Orlando Jr. Pace car is off. Orlando, remember, is 1 lap down. Or actually, he is on the lead lap, but he will lead them to the green. He's not the leader. Dakota Floyd is. And right behind him, Andy Kurtz, who was able to benefit from the Kid Huber deal. He's battling with Huber. Evans sends it on the inside. Jake Ham, big send to Brandon Evans in turn 3.
And right now, this is the best case scenario for Kevin Orlando Jr., but that caution flag does not come out. Kevin Price in the 80 gets spun around, but at the bottom of the track. And now it's all about whether or not that 52 can hold on and stay in front of Dakota Floyd for a caution to come out. That'll put him back at the back of the pack on the lead lap rather than fending off the faster cars here, as he is at a 14-lap disadvantage on the tires.
Yeah, and I got a feeling, I mean, Orlando Jr. may be hollered at Dakota Floyd, maybe going to throw him a 20 after this race if somehow or another they can get a caution and keep himself on the lead lap. And Jake Ham absolutely muscles his way up under Ked Huber. Take Ham up to second, and now Floyd may not worry about that 20. He's going to dive it to the inside of the 52 of Kevin Orlando Jr. Orlando up the hill. Ham looks down to the inside, 3 wide going into turn 3. Floyd stuck in the middle. Orlando Jr. up top. Jake Ham goes for the lead.
You saw there. Oh, Jake Ham gets loose off of turn 4, but collects it. He loses that ground. He's battling back again for what would be third on the surface with Ken Huber to the outside after heating up those tires too with that slide. This is going to be a dangerous situation for Jake Ham. How does he handle it? With ease, it looks like he's going to stick it to the bottom, back to the inside of Kevin Orlando Jr. and back down to the bottom of turn one. That will be it. Wow, what a sequence for Jake Ham.
Yeah, and Ham is still sideways. Remember, folks, we talked about it, 122, now 123 degrees on that track, Tim. Absolutely eating these tires alive, making them slip and slide sideways, much like on your slick track up in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Put a little baby powder out there. That's what it feels like. Floyd still holding on with the lead. Ham right behind him. There is Kevin Orlando Jr. trying to just jump down to the inside and quit getting bypassed, but he'll jump up to the middle lane. Now Eddie Kurtz in the 48, he'll dive down to the inside off turn 4.
Kevin Orlando Jr. being as respectful as possible as he gets big time loose off of turn 4 on the outside. But here we go. Jake Ham is caught up to our leader, Dakota Floyd. What will we see from the 85? We know that he wants a win, and he almost gets into the back bumper. Man, that was close. Late on the brakes for second place.
Yeah, Ham absolutely wearing out Dakota Floyd, and Ken Huber actually wearing out Ham right behind him. And Evans not too far back, making a 4-horse train, literally all the way through turn 1 and 2. Huber gets a little sideways. Evans gets up on his back door. Ham dives back down. He'll go back for the lead. Floyd not wanting to give it up. Dakota Floyd started third, but he actually started the race on the front row from the EOL for Jake Ham. Front row boys dig it here at North Wilkesboro, and Ken Huber started on the outside of the front row. He's right smack dab in the middle of it with Brandon Evans trying to jump up here and make it a 4-horse race.
There goes Dakota Floyd way up on the track. That's going to give it up to Jake Ham. It's a battle for second with Huber now, as Huber has that preferred line on the inside. He's going to give a little bit of space here as he sees Dakota Floyd struggling to keep it at the bottom of the racetrack, trying to hold on to that middle groove as he cannot get down to the middle, or to the bottom rather, with the 40 right there. Brandon Evans inching into the picture now. He's going to get to the back quarter panel of that 57.
And Logan, you know, as this race wears on, you know, as these guys are still going around this track temp, we talked about it, over 120 degrees, just melting the tires. What's these guys feeling? You know, we talked about it a while ago with how they're sawing on the wheel, trying to keep the car straight and everything. You know, what are they fighting? Loose, tight, or they're just trying to just pray to God that if they can just keep it on the bottom and not slide up into anybody?
It's interesting to think about this because it's not the answer you would expect. From the information I gathered from drivers pre-race, it was a little bit of both. It seems to be loose on entry and exit, but it gets tight in the middle of the corner. So they're fighting everything, every single corner with this car right now, as we've got a great onboard here with Brandon Evans. And that time there, held it nice and steady, but there's the loose on the exit. Let's see how it goes into the corner. He gets it slowed down enough that it's all right. Doesn't seem like it pushed too much there, but again, loose on the exit. He's doing a great job controlling that.
And honestly, Logan, this is one of the best cars on iRacing, one of the best generations in racing history. And Goat Locker is proud to have it right here with the Cruisin Classics Retro 87 Series here on V-Speed. Ham still holds down the lead. Ken Huber still following right into his tire tracks in the 40. Evans was able to get around Dakota Floyd. Now Floyd's starting to get a little bit of a pressure from Andy Kurtz, but front two still holding it down all the way on the bottom side, down in the cellar where Grandpappy has the moonshine, which is perfect up here in North Wilkesboro for that. And obviously, also with Huber, you think about Ken Huber still looking for the first win of the season. Jake Ham been one of the more dominant drivers here on the Tuesday night series.
Yeah, Huber had his best shot of the season last week, and again, cannot express just how disheartening that was to see the 40 caught up in that incident. But here he is battling again for the lead. We've seen him with speed all season long. Just luck has not fallen in the way of the 40 yet.
It has not, but it could change here this evening. One little slip. I mean, even with Jake Ham, as dominant as he has been, in the couple of races, that we've had so far this season. Ham can mess up. We saw it a while ago. Tried to make a pass for the lead on the inside. Got sideways and almost wrecked the 85, almost wrecked the car. So Ham is, he is not perfect. Nobody is perfect. You know that as much as I do, Logan. So Ken Huber, if he just stays in the game and stays right on Jake Ham and doesn't let him get a little bit of confidence, Ken Huber can still get that first win of the season. He's got a pretty good shot here this evening.
And he's been confident and consistent all season long as he has kept himself up in the runnings for the top 5 in points. But again, no win on the season yet. So it's been there all season long. It hasn't quite come to the doorstep yet. But here it is with another fantastic opportunity as Brandon Evans takes a look to the outside, maybe just a little bit late on the break into the corner. Doesn't get an opportunity to pass around the outside, and I don't think you're going to see much of a passing opportunity on the outside. This bottom line is where the speed is at.
And pretty much everybody is either spread out or single file. So basically, this is the closest battle for the lead right here at this moment in time, just coming up on halfway. Huber really starting to put some pressure, son, all up in the back door of Jake Ham. And we're actually seeing in our broadcast chat that Huber actually won Rockingham. It was during hosted races after the update broke league. So thank you very much, Jacob Linke. So he's giving us a little bit of update on that. But Huber got him that win at Rockingham, one of those old school tracks. North Carolina, might I add. So he's got a shot. Now he is at a straight up big old sandwich right now with Ham in front of him, and right behind him he's got Brandon Evans. More or less like a ham sandwich, if you want to put it that way, Logan.
I feel like that works a little bit better when Jake Ham is in the middle, but we'll let it count this time. But what I want to draw attention to here is this is new grounds for the race. This is our longest green flag run of the race. We have just crossed over to start lap 27 on this run. So what do you expect these drivers are feeling about these tires? Do you think they're holding out hopes that it'll go to the green all the way to the end? Or if you're in the seat there, Jake, what are your thoughts?
Well, it depends on the driver. Honestly, Logan, I've been in situations where, my car sucked on cold tires. In these, and the trucks or the next gens or Xfinities or whatever car it is, you may feel better on the worn out shoes. You may be able, to run a little bit better. You can control the car a little bit better on the older shoes. Whereas some drivers may say, nope, I want to be on fresh tires. I hate being on the older shoes. Huber right now looks like he was pretty good on the freshies. Now he's looking like that he wants to be on the old shoes because Jake Ham was out, a little bit of a gap. He had a pretty good gap over Ken Huber. Not anymore. It has dwindled big time. Huber is putting pressure on him, but I really think, Logan, it really depends on the driver and their style and their mentality and much, how hard they're driving the car, especially under these track conditions.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that because one driver that stands out to me with this is Dakota Floyd, only taking right side tires that last pit stop 30 laps ago. So, it's he's the only driver trying to make that work. He started second, so he had the track position, but he has fallen back to now 5th, but holding on well right in that top 5 position.
Yeah, good run for Dakota Floyd in the 057. Obviously, the throwback for Bill Elliott. One thing I do see out of this, you got Ham, Huber, and Evans, all of them about a half a second apart. Then you got to go back about another second and a half. That's where you see Andy Kurtz sitting in the 4th spot. And then about a second back from him is Dakota Floyd. So, they kind of spread out about a second apiece, give or take. You see Daniel Parks, Brandon Wallace back there as well. Hold up, battle for the lead is on. Ham up top. Ken Huber down on the bottom side. Huber may have, like I was talking about, Logan, loved those old shoes. He is putting them to good use. Ken Huber goes to the lead at Wilkesboro.
And Brandon Evans going to try to follow right in line, but gets loose off of the bottom of the corner, and he's going to fall in line in third, right where he was. But he's got a whole lot of momentum. Jake Ham showing weakness now on the older tires. Ken Huber got to take advantage of it, but Ham's kind of holding on here.
Kind of looking like, honestly, I mean, yeah, he's holding on, Logan, but may end up being a little bit of a roadblock for Brandon Evans. Evans looks like he's maybe just a tick better, and you can see it. Putting the pressure, bumper tagging, bumper banging, if you will, here at North Wilkesboro. Evans gives Ham a shot, lets him know he's there, gives him another shot going through 3 and 4. Evans is really wearing out Jake Ham, and Ham may want to think about moving out of the way.
If he doesn't move out of the way voluntarily, I think Brandon Evans is going to do it for him. It's 2 taps to that back bumper. That's letting you know, hey, you better move or I'm going to move you. That's not what you want to feel if you're the driver of the 85. And there's another one here out of turn 4, just trying to get the 85 up the track. But here comes Kevin Price trying to get back to the lead lap. 4 down right now around the outside of Evans. Looking to go around the outside of Ham, but that's just going to hurt the 39.
And what all this has done has straight up let Ken Huber pull away. He is gone about a half a second, and it is growing over Jake Ham. Price still trying to figure out a way to get around Evans. And one thing about this, Huber, Ham, Evans, all 3 drivers in the top 3 in points. Ham with the points lead. Evans second. Ken Huber sitting in third. I mean, but honestly, that's a recipe for craziness when you see all that. And Ken Huber is still trying to make a statement, sitting in third in the points, trying to make a statement, get his second win of the season. Still a long way to go, though, Logan, with 40 laps left.
And although the 80 car kind of hindering the 39 of Evans, he's right back to the back bumper of Ham again. And you can see there a perfect view of just how far away Ken Huber's getting away from Brandon Evans right now. He needs to try to make quick work of Jake Ham, but Ham not making it easy by any means.
And you know, Logan, this has got to kind of wear on Brandon Evans. Give him a shot right back on the back bumper once again. Evans trying to pull the old Dale Earnhardt Intimidator kind of move, and now Evans backs away a ton from Jake Ham. Kevin Price thinks about it, says, screw it, we'll just wall ride it, if you will, through 1 and 2, and Evans is going to get bypassed. Check it out once again right here on the instant replay. You see Evans dives it into the corner. I mean, he is trying to figure out any way he can to try to get around Jake Ham, give him the shot. And then Evans, big sideways right there. Just got snappy and loose. And Price shot around him going into turn 1.
I don't know if you caught it or not, Jake, but over the race comms there, maybe a little bit of beef starting to develop here. Just over the halfway point of this race, Evans loses a ton of ground to Jake Ham, but Kevin Price is now going to be all over the back bumper. We'll see if the 80 can get around here and get back to just 3 laps down. I don't know if it's going to be too beneficial here, as everybody's pretty well spread out through the field. It would take, I'm not even going to go down that road. We're not going to talk about that.
It would, absolutely. And I'll tell you this, all this is going on with Ham and Evans and Price trying to get around him. Ken Hubert's gone. You know, we talked about a second ago saying, oh, yeah, he's gone. He's about a half a second. Everybody's like, yeah, well, not that bad. Okay, well, now look at it. 2.5 seconds is Ken Huber. Now Ken Huber is gone. One thing about all this, you see Ham and Evans, check out that white car just for a split second, came in the picture. You'll see it again, is Andy Kurtz. He was sitting in the 4th spot. That's where he's at. He's starting to close the gap on this Ham and Evans deal. And you got to think, Logan, like you said, with that little bit of beef already squirreling right there through the race chatter, you got to feel like Andy Kurtz is licking his chops thinking, yeah, I may have a shot to get around both of these guys, because both of them might end up taking each other out.
Yeah, now the 80 of Kevin Price has brought it back down pit road. So I think that's kind of what was really holding up this battle, as you saw Evans had a whole lot of room to catch back up to Jake Ham. Then once Jake Ham got side by side with the 80 machine. That gap closed rapidly, and here we are with Evans to the inside. He is door to door down into turn number 3, and he's going to get completely cleared, Jake Ham. But look at that gap. It's 3.3 seconds before the 39 sees the 40.
Yeah, I mean, Ham really was holding up Brandon Evans. We'll see if Evans might have burnt his tires up too much trying to get around Jake Ham. But now Ham is actually in a big battle right here. He may end up losing a podium spot. Andy Kurtz in a 48 down to the inside will make the pass with pretty much ease. No, maybe not. Ham gets a little run coming off of turn 4. Ham still up top. Kurtz down on the bottom side. I thought it was going to be an easy pass. No, it'll be an easy pass. Andy Kurtz will go to third. Got the run through 1 and 2. So Kurtz goes to third. Ham back to fourth. Evans still stuck in second. And he's starting to gain right here. Check this out. We saw it a second ago. It was about 4 seconds between Huber and Evans. Evans has already cracked it down to under 3 seconds. Brandon Evans, with patience, trying to get around Jake Ham. He might be able to try to run down Ken Huber.
He's got just under 30 laps to do it, so I'd say there's plenty of time if Evans can find the pace, try to put it up on the top step of the podium here tonight, rather than coming in second where we've seen the 39 many, many times this season.
You see Evans working his way through 1 and 2. Now that gap is actually starting to grow a little bit. Maybe Ken Huber saw all the battling going on, or probably heard about it at least, all the battle is going on. Maybe just go ahead and just take it easy. And then once Brandon Evans got around him, maybe kicked it up a notch. There is Brandon Wallace, Bubba Wallace, goat locker right smack dab right there on the steering column. And check him out right here coming off the corner. Look, already kicking a little bit to the right. He's right in behind Dakota Floyd. A little battle going on for the 5th spot. And Brandon Wallace in the 99, we saw him go around a while ago in the 99, is able to battle back. And this would be a pretty good run for him. He started 12th in the field, and he's trying to crack inside the top 5, but he's got Dakota Floyd on 2 tires, mind you, right in front of him.
And Floyd's still doing a great job holding off for that 5th place spot, but Brandon Evans has finally caught up to him, and he's really putting a challenge to him. Those late dives into the corner, you know, it's got to have Floyd looking in the rear view a lot more than what he's looking forward.
Yeah, I mean, and you really hate, you know, to be in that situation where you're sitting there more looking out your mirror than you are out the windshield. It can really, I mean, really, Logan, I mean, it can really screw you up, really, not worrying about what's out your windshield and worrying more about your mirror. That's, you know, a lot of what drivers do. I mean, they don't even have to hit you. All they got to do is just fill the mirror full, and then you worry more about the mirror than you do out the windshield. It makes you overdrive the corner. You can slip up. You can, you know, overdrive it, maybe jam on the brakes a little bit too early to try to throw them off. I mean, a lot of strategy can come into play, but certainly Brandon Wallace tried to pull that intimidator factor, just not like a Dale Earnhardt where you just drive in there and just dump them, but he's just trying to fill that mirror full and make Dakota Floyd worry him to death, honestly, and try to get him to overdrive the corner.
And if he recognizes that 057 is just on 2 tires, he could play that strategy of just having Dakota Floyd burn up his tires and make a late race pass. You know, that'd be a whole lot better than trying to fend off Dakota Floyd, because he still might have something left in the tank. We don't know.
I mean, I'm only on 2 tires. I mean, I've seen that strategy a couple of times here at North Wilkesboro. 2 tires has paid off. It wasn't in 87s, it was in late models, but I mean, who knows? I mean, it might work for Dakota Floyd, get him a top 5 and get him on out of here. That lead that we were talking about with Ken Huber and Brandon Evans, it has grown. It was shrinking. It looked like it was going to get maybe to about 2.5 seconds. It has grown majorly. So what Evans, what Kurtz, what Ham need, they need a caution. Evans, Kurtz, and Ham, they need a caution. Huber does not want to see a yellow flag, and he's pretty much driving away with it. So you got one guy that does not want any beef out here, and everybody else is just praying for beef.
That's about as best as you can put it here, as we are going to see one come down. That's going to be the 085 of James Goshen. He'll come in late for some fresh tires. Keep an eye on him, see what he does here. But in the meantime, Brandon Wallace has gotten to the inside of the 057. It's a battle for fifth now, side by side. The 99 gets the preferred line. Can he get the drive off to get clear of Dakota Floyd before the next corner? He will not. Floyd able to drive a little bit higher up the racetrack, get some more exit speed, and now they're going to have James Goshen to deal with here on the exit.
James Goshen, who made a pit stop to light his cigar, now jumps back out on the racetrack with Wallace and Floyd right in behind him. Still side by side. Wallace down on the bottom side and Floyd up top. But Floyd making those two tires work. We are under 20 to go. And right here with the 84 of 100 laps down. So Wallace was there. He put his nose in there and he tried to make it work. And Wallace is still there, and he's going to keep putting that pressure on Floyd and maybe try to make him overdrive the corner. And don't look now, but right there, just for a split second, you saw it on the left side. That is Jake Ham. Believe it or not, Floyd and Goshen goes around. We got a caution.
Oh, and he's going to get the 85.
Wow.
There goes that front bumper and the front left panel. Jake Ham now hurt.
Well, that will certainly change a whole lot right here, Logan. You see Goshen sends it into the corner, gets a little bit loose, slides around, might have dropped his cigar. Good possibility, Logan, not real sure. What happened with Goshen, but just sends it in the corner, back in, comes around, and Jake Ham, just an innocent bystander. Now everybody jumps down, and we'll get 4 freshies and send it back out there in what is going to be a dash to the finish.
That is to say the least there, Jake. That is not at all what you want to see for the 40. Man, let's take a look here at the battle off of pit road. Jake Ham came in early, so he will not be in the lead. Next one off will be Ken Huber. Brandon Evans follows, so there's our 1-2 starting spot. Andy Kurtz in third. However, it looks like the 99 of Brandon Wallace is going to stay out.
Brandon Wallace maybe going to try to pull a crazy strategy and see if it may work out for him in the 99 here with the Cruisin Classics Retro 87 series here at North Wilkesboro. And speaking of Cruisin Classics obviously located in Columbus, Ohio. Cruisin Classics has a beautiful, absolute straight up BEA beautiful 56,000 square foot showroom floor filled with hundreds of unique automobiles. There is something for everybody out of their hand-picked selection of muscle cars and hot rods. Come on down to visit the facility today and check out their website at cruisinclassicsinc.com. So thank you very much, Cruisin Classics, for what they do for Goat Locker and the title sponsor for the Cruisin Classics Retro 87 series. Well, Brandon Wallace is pretty much like a deep sea diver in a shark tank. Pretty much. That's, a shark pit, if you will. He's got Huber, Evans, Kurtz, and Parks, all them on freshies behind him. 5 of them on the lead lap right now. Wallace will lead them back to the green. Will he be able to hold on with old shoes with 11 to go? Green flag in the air. Goshen and others on the bottom. And Jake Ham down there as well, 1 lap down. Huber goes up the hill. Big slides all the way around. Lemke goes up the hill as well. Now Huber and Evans, they'll slug it out.
I like this call by Brandon Wallace. He's in a good spot to maybe hold on to it as he gets a little sideways. Contact with Ken Huber and Brandon Evans. Evans now to the lead here. He's on the inside of the 35 of David Calvert, looking to get around this lap traffic. The 085 of Goshen still leading the pack. The 85 of Jake Ham is back on the lead lap, but they both need a caution here if they want to get back to the back of the pack and battle for a win.
Evans still has the lead with Andy Kurtz back there trying to hold off Daniel Parks. Ken Huber more or less got muscled out of the way. He goes back to 4th, and Brandon Wallace on the old shoes all the way back in the 5th spot. You mentioned Ham needing some kind of caution. Looked like we was going to have one there for a second, folks, but it straightens back out. Now Kurtz, going down to the inside of one of the lap cars. Looks like that is Goshen, so Kurtz will get clear. He'll try to run down Brandon Evans with under 10 to go. But behind them, it is a straight-up stack-up with Calvert up top. Parks was able to get around Ken Huber. Daniel Parks will go to P3 and try to see if he can run down Andy Kurtz.
You're coming around here to start lap 95 shortly. The door is closing ever so rapidly. It got ripped right out of Ken Huber's hands. He has a chance to battle back for a podium. He's to the inside of Daniel Parks here, but he's got to let up just a little bit more as Parks sends it up the hill. It'll be back to door-to-door action coming down the back stretch. Dakota Floyd trying to make his way back up as well.
Sorry about that, Logan. Side by side. There you see Huber trying to slide down to the inside of Parks. Parks not wanting to give it up. Oh, crossover. Tagged him. Got into Huber. Almost knocked him sideways. Might have actually helped Huber a little bit. Parks got into him, set him in the corner, and they got a good enough gap. Now Huber will get past Daniel Parks. Andy Kurtz still trying to reel in Brandon Evans with 4 laps to go at the line. Brandon Evans with Jake Ham in front of him. Ham still trying to hold it down and maybe get a caution and get back in this thing.
At 39 of Evans has a little bit of over a 1 second cushion here on Andy Kurtz. It's coming down to the wire. If anybody has anything to say about the 39 taking home a win today, I don't know if it's going to happen.
I don't think anybody's got anything for Evans. Evans actually pulled away just a little bit. Kurtz tries to close the gap, but Evans running absolutely perfect down on the bottom of the racetrack. Maybe trying to put some pressure on Jake Ham with 3 to go right here. Logan thinking maybe Evans put some pressure on Ham just in case we get a caution? Or do you think maybe he's just content to just ride and just pray?
As he's going to come down into turn 3 and then turn 4. I don't think there's any pressure to be put on Jake Ham as that white flag is in the air. Andy Kurtz 0.8 of a second back. All he needs to do is make it safely out of turn 2, down the back stretch, in the last corner of the night. It will be settled here. The 39, Brandon Evans, out of turn 4, all over the back bumper, but wheels it to a victory in North Carolina.
How about that for the 39? Brandon Evans gets it done, and Kurtz and Ken Huber, who was able to get around Daniel Parks, will come home with 3rd. Parks gets 4th, and Brandon Wallace, who stayed out on the old shoes, it will pay off for him with a top 5 Ham, the last one on the lead lap, finishing in 6th. But the night will belong to the 39 of Brandon Evans in his number 39 Chevy. Puts it right here on the front stretch, and he's going to burn it down for us right here. Give us a little smoke show, back it into the wall so it'll pass Tech, and keep on burning it down any way that he can. And there you see it, absolutely smoking the tires. Evans, honestly, Logan, if that caution would have not come out, Huber had this sucker in the bag. Caution comes out, ends up biting Ken Huber in the tailpipes. And Brandon Evans, I don't want to say he stole one, but this was Ken Huber's race to lose. And once again, gets snake bit once again.
Just completely ripped out of the hands of the team of the 40. Heartbreaking to see it happen back-to-back weeks like that, Jake. I have to say it.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row. You hate to see that. For Ken Huber. Sorry about that. But folks, real quick, believe we'll go ahead and take a quick commercial break. Then we'll bring you back with your race results, podium finishers, and final analysis here in North Wilkesboro. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you, day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Boy, look at the beautiful hot rods right there with Cruisin Classics. Great to have them as the title sponsor of the Cruisin Classics Retro 87 series. Here is your race results here this evening. Brandon Evans gets it done, gets the win, stole it, was dominant, however you want to look at it. He gets it done. He will win at North Wilkesboro. Eddie Kurtz and Ken Huber, second and third. We'll talk to those drivers here momentarily. With Daniel Parks finishing fourth, Brandon Wallace stayed out on old shoes that last 10 laps. Paid off for him, got him a top 5. Jake Ham was able to get back on the lead lap, but he needed a caution and it didn't pay off for him. He'll settle for 6. Dakota Floyd 1 lap down in 7th in the 057. Jamie Lemke will finish 8th. David Calvert will finish 9th. And James Goshen, the cigar man, will finish in 10th.
Back here in 11th, it's the 80 of Kevin Price, followed up by the 52 of Kevin Orlando Jr. in 12th. Ryan Pendleton in the 23 takes up the 13th finishing position. And the 7 of Charles Abert not turning a lap here tonight. Maybe running race control for us behind the scenes. And man, he needs some credit there. So thank you, Charles.
Absolutely. Give Charles a little bit of credit. We're seeing out there in the live chat, there's a couple of people out there saying that Evans didn't win. He come in second. There was another car that finished ahead of him. We want to make sure everybody understands that was Jake Ham, who was 6th. He was on the lead lap. Evans was right behind him, could have put him a lap down, decided not to. So, yes, Jake Ham did cross the line first, but he was 6th, 22 seconds back. So that's what I just wanted to make sure the live chat understood that. So we're not talking to Jake Ham. We're talking to Brandon Evans in the 39 who got the win here tonight. Brandon, congratulations on the win, buddy. Boy, I bet you was tickled to death when you saw that yellow flag pop out.
Yeah, I actually didn't believe that was going to happen. I was like, well, I'm done. Like, Jake, I tried my best to race Jake Ham as cleanly as I could. I wasn't going to just dump him. I know I could have on a number of occasions, but I finally got by him. But by then, Ken he was gone. So there was just no way. I thought maybe I had a little bit of pace to try to catch him, but I was like, nah, 30 laps and he's already 4 seconds out. There's no way. So yeah, when that caution hit, I was like, hey, you got to seize the moment. And sure enough, that's what happened.
Well, Brandon, I'm curious here. You know, we talked a lot about the tires. We had that long green flag run, I think 55 plus laps, and a very, very hot track here tonight. I think typically well above 120 degrees, right at the 123 mark. How slippery was it getting out there at the late runnings of that green flag run?
Yeah, I feel like if you didn't keep up with the brake bias, you're probably at a disadvantage. So definitely, I had to adjust my brake bias through the run, trying not to because you'll four wheel slide it in a heartbeat if you misjudge the brakes. Um, with this car and that track temp, you're more likely to four wheel slide it than lock or brake up. If this was a next gen car, it'd be the opposite. You'd probably lock the brakes up. So just goes to show how much technology has changed, and this thing is a big old boat. So, but yeah, it would power slide, and it got scary. And if you don't make the adjustment, you're just gonna run slow.
Big old pontoon boat, basically, was what Brandon Evans was driving in the 39 here tonight. Brandon, real quick, congratulations on the win. One quick question, and then you can transition that to your sponsors and shout outs. But you get your first win of the season. You're right there in that little title hunt with Jake Ham. You saw it. I mean, Ham was right there in front of you, obviously finished a couple positions back. You're going to gain a little bit of ground on him here tonight. Got a couple more races left with Dover Downs and Old Atlanta. Are we thinking maybe we can catch Jake Ham and have a fight for that championship over the next 2 weeks?
We'll see if I can get a win and he finishes kind of where he did today. Like it's possible that I think I can close the gap, but Ken Huber's also in the mix too, so we can't count him out. But yeah, we'll see. We'll just see how it goes. We're gonna have to race really hard over the next few weeks to do our best. So we'll see how it shakes out for sure.
Brandon Evans gets the win here tonight. Brandon, real quick, thank your sponsors and any shout outs, sir.
Hey, no problem. First, I want to thank Lincoln Tech, Save 22. I want to thank Cruisin Classics and Eddie and Goat Locker for putting the series on. It's a lot of fun. I know the drivers have a great time. It's just been awesome racing all season. I want to thank Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs and Premier Racing Setups.
Brandon Evans gets the win here tonight. First win of the season. Took him a couple of weeks, damn near a month, but it pays off. He gets it at North Wilkesboro. Brandon, congratulations, buddy. We'll see you at Dover Downs next week.
Hey, you got it, guys. Thanks.
That was Brandon Evans gets the win here tonight. We'll go to second place finisher in the 48. Andy Kurtz, buddy. Andy, been a little while since I talked to you, buddy. It's been, about 6, 7, 8 months? I can't remember how long it's been. It's been a while. But Andy, buddy, what a drive for you out there in that 48. Tell us about your race, sir.
What's up, man? Yeah, that was awesome. That was a ton of fun and really cool finish. So, track was super slick. Car was just a handful. So, yeah, it didn't really have the short run speed, I think, to keep up with everyone. But that long run there at the end was I think coming to me just getting a little bit more comfortable in the car. So, cool finish. Had a fun caution. Got to re-rack them and. Could have maybe been a little bit more aggressive on the restart, but just didn't want to cause a mess. So congrats to Brandon and Ken. Ken was lights out. So really good racing up front tonight.
So with that long green flag run, Andy, you showed a lot of pace there. Towards the end of it, you were rapidly closing that gap you had to Brandon Evans. Now, if you think that continues, do you have the pace to catch up with Ken Huber, who was up ahead of both of you?
No, probably not. I was watching the relative, and he was still pulling away. So I don't know if I could have got around Brandon too, because I needed the whole track to to run my line, just because the car is such a handful to me. So I don't know that I could have actually cleanly passed Brandon without making some contact. So I was cool just riding behind him and just learning a little bit from him. But it got exciting at the end. So cool race.
And Andy, one final question, and then you can transition that to your sponsors and shout outs. I mean, you talked about your learning. You're learning these cars, you're learning how these tracks works with these cars and everything else, but you're still learning, but you come out here in second, and with 2 races left in the season, a little points battle. Are we feeling like maybe you could be kind of a put it in clean terms, a crap stir a little bit? You just kind of stir it up just a little bit, stir the pot, if you will, with a championship battle going on to come out here and try to win a couple races with 2 races left.
Yeah, maybe I'd be cool doing that. Yeah, I haven't run this car for a really long time and was really really excited to see the season get put together. Eddie put this one together, so yeah, super excited for it. A lot of really cool tracks. I couldn't get to run as many races as I thought, so yeah, just hopping in and would love to get a win at either Dover or Atlanta. Those are two of my top favorite tracks to run. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's a fun series.
Well, Andy comes home second here tonight. Andy, real quick, sponsors and shout outs, sir.
Yeah, man. Yep. Appreciate you guys, Goat Locker, everyone putting this on for us. I want to thank Lincoln Tech, Save 22, Hidden Wood Brewery, Cruisin Classics, Nasty's Restaurant and Bar, Glove Station, Operation Valor, Invents, Jam Printing and Promotions, McConey, Setup Shop, V Speed, Sim Racing Media, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, Alexander PC, Sim Motion, Next Level Racing, iRacing, and Above the Yellow Line for putting this on.
Good Lord. I said real quick. I didn't mean that damn quick. All right. Well, Andy, appreciate your time, buddy. Congratulations on the second place finish, buddy. We'll see you at Dover Downs next week.
All right, man. We'll see you.
Oh, boy, that was Andy Kurtz. Boy, he went through that pretty quick right there, Logan. We'll go to the third place finisher, Ken Huber. Ken, damn, man. I mean, snake bit 2 weeks, more or less in a row. You were lighting it up at Darlington. Something happened, and then you basically had this sucker in the bag. Caution comes out, and it spoils it. I mean, what? I don't want to ask what it feels like because I know I would probably tick you off, but I mean, the emotions has got to be running through your head. Like, what have I got to do to try to win one of these races?
Yeah, it is one of those things, after the race. I will say, Darlington, it was frustrating. Darlington was really frustrating, but there was nothing you can do. I don't really blame what's going on. We're just the wave arounds don't seem to be working, and the cars did line up on the inside properly, but then the wave arounds just didn't wave around. And then once you're looking at staring you in the face and everybody's a lot slower, there's not a whole lot those guys can do. You're 2-3 wide with the lap cars, and they were apologizing where they're kind of mad at me because I said something. I says, well, it's the lap cars. If it wasn't for the lap cars, it wouldn't have been such a mess. But it wasn't like I was criticizing them. It was the fact that where iRacing was putting them. It was putting them in that bad situation, and putting, of course, the rest of us in that bad situation. So any apologies to anybody that took that the wrong way. I just meant that the way iRacing was lining up those cars, and it's a tough track. So we're short track racing. The car was really squirrely tonight. Even I got my hands filled trying to hang on to that car tonight. But once I grabbed the lead and I was able to start checking out, I just was able to manage that gap. And if Brandon, if Brandon somehow saved tires, he might have been able to catch me. But I don't know. We had about 20 to go, and then the car just started locking in. Like the setup started to even out, and the car was very neutral after that. And I just started stepping away, and it's like, okay, all I got to do is mind the gap, because even letting him running me down, but I was slowing up and he still wasn't running me down. So I'm like, well, I guess I got this one. And then the caution comes out. So I guess that's lady luck. It's the way it goes, I guess.
You're spot on with that 20 lap remark. It was about 20 to 25 where the lap times just completely evened out, and we only lost about a second to a second and a half off the pace of the fastest lap. So it was right in that area. So that's a perfect breakdown. But Ken, I'm curious. I've had the misfortune of seeing it week after week. What do we have to do to break the bad luck streak for the 40 team?
Just keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully, it's really the wave around issue. It's just not working. I'm not saying I would have won this race, but Darlington, I was in the lead, and here I was in the lead, and the wave arounds just aren't happening, and so you got that mess to deal with, and it's not. It just is what it is. I think that's really the case here. And we're all out here having fun, and that's what it's about. And I don't know. For the most part, I was being raced fairly clean tonight, and so I'm always happy about that. And as long as I get a clean race in, third place, I'm happy with that. Even a top five, it's just come out here and have fun.
And honestly,
Ken
not hurt too
Huber,
terribly bad. You're gonna sit in the top three still on points, so not bad. A little bit closer on the gap
Oh,
to the lead as well.
the most disappointing thing about tonight was Brandon Evans won. So my goal was what at any cost keep him from winning, because he was crying in the forums. I'm just giving you some crap there, Brandon. So don't take it personally. But he's in the forums crying about how he's locked into second place and wham wham, woe is me, woe is me. And then now he's got his win. So there you go. So congrats to Brandon.
We got
yeah,
beef.
but Yeah, I would play the soundbite. I don't know if Eddie's got him turned on, but I mean, kid, congratulations on third place finish. Transition. I mean, or one final question, and then transition to your sponsors and shout outs. But you mentioned that you get third. Jake Cam, who's leading the points, kind of slips back a little bit. It's got to give you a little bit of a consolation, even though with all the hell that you went through over the past 2 weeks, it's got to give you a little bit of consolation that you're going to close that gap, at least on Jake Cam, at least a little bit, right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think we have one drop week that hasn't been factored into this yet, so I don't know how that's going to work out. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, come out here and have fun. The next couple of tracks are going to be fun, and we'll just see what happens. We'll take what we get. And running the 87s is one of my favorite things. I came out of the GT series to run these 87s because I like them so much, and I'm out here running 87, so it's kind of a lot of fun. Anyway, I want to thank iRacing. I want to thank, obviously, Goat Locker for having me. I want to thank you guys in the broadcast booth. I always love this race more than any other one. This is a good one to watch. And then above the yellow line, Sim Motion as a title sponsor of this series. Yeah, thanks to everybody here. And 7-Up, that's what's on my car.
Boy, love me some 7-Up any way that you can get it. Ken Huber comes home third here tonight. Ken, appreciate your time, buddy. We'll see you at Dover Downs next week.
Night, guys.
That was Ken Huber. Well, folks, I'm telling you, what a race right there, Logan. Honestly, what a race. Was wild to see that right there, buddy. Final thoughts on a wild one here tonight in North Wilkesboro.
It was kind of along the lines of what we thought. We had the short field, only 14 cars made it, but actually just 13 with Charles Abert stepping to the side. But, it's relatively caution-free. We had nice long green flag runs. We got to see what some of these drivers can do at these short track races. And I think that's most important here tonight. That's a great takeaway, is to see what we have in store from some of these drivers going into the last couple of races.
It's going to be a pretty good little deal right there over the next 2 races with Dover Downs and home track of mine right here in the great state of Georgia. Old Atlanta will be a pretty good one over the next 2 weeks. Make sure you like and subscribe, V-Speed. Keep up with everything going on and keep up with the points battle for the Cruisin' Classics Retro 87 series. It was a great race. I love Wilkesboro. Old school. Y'all know me. I love the old school mentality. And they done it very well here this evening. But, folks, that's going to do it for this broadcast here with Goat Locker. I want to thank all our great sponsors, Lincoln Tech, Save 22, obviously Champ Predict Promotions for the Pole Award winner, Himwit Brewery, Invets, Nasty's Restaurant and Bar, and obviously Cruisin' Classics for the title sponsor of the Cruisin' Classics Retro 87 series. Shout out to the fans for always coming out big old numbers, and the drivers for always putting on a fantastic show. Patrick Jabick, Jamie Barkus, everybody over at Goat Locker for allowing us to be ourselves and give you the broadcast that everyone deserves with Goat Locker. For Eddie Smith and for Santa Logan Thurkill, I'm the redneck announcer, Jake Reeves. Said as I always say, be safe, be kind, be fast. And boys, I'm telling you, we're going to have a big old monster right there smack dab in the middle of us next week. Dover Downs is where we'll be next Tuesday night for the Cruisin' Classics Retro 87 series, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live and only on V-Speed. We're going to have to fight off a monster next week.